Hi, everyone. Very exciting session planned for today. We have some of the leading industry experts from a knowledge perspective available to discuss some very interesting topics. So I appreciate all of your time, your willingness to participate on the panel. Let's go ahead and jump right in.
There's no uniformity. I can start with that, or limited. They're trying to incentivize the legislations, or the intent is, natural gas is abundant here in the United States. Why don't we see more infrastructure, more use of this? There's a lot of benefits to natural gas fuel. There's big companies that have access to that gas. There's a cost to pulling it out of the ground. At the rate right now at retail, they want to make sure they're going to recover their costs. So that's why the government's putting, it's one of the reasons why the government's putting a lot of incentives on alternative fuel. Right now, the industry as a whole, there's about 150 gasoline stations across the United States. There's 75,000 diesel stations and 1,200 alternative fuel stations. The industry is building 20 to 30 a month. So you take that and you say, where are they? They're trying to incentivize. So they're offering, a lot of the states will offer credits or refunds or some form of incentives on converting to natural gas vehicles. Depending on how the language is written, it's either, if you buy a new truck, you get X dollars per truck, or if you spend Y dollars more than your diesel costs, you get some of that back. Other states are saying, well, if you build infrastructure, we'll give you a tax credit up to, it's usually capped depending on the state, up to X dollars of your, take 50% of your investment in that site, whether you build a new CNG or LNG station or you add a pump onto your existing station. There are incentives for that. There's a movement to move away from the decals. In the states that have decals, Texas is another one. That's going to flip to a pay at the pump. The issue that we're seeing states struggle with, and Florida struggled with this, is not understanding there's vastly different energy contents within a gallon of diesel versus a gallon equivalent of CNG. And so trying to get the tax rate, right now everything's tied to the gasoline gallon equivalent, GGE. In 1993, the Weights and Measures put a CNG task force in place to come out with some guidance for consumers who were looking at alternative fuel vehicles. And this was on an individual, more non-fleet basis. So that's why they tied it to gasoline. Now that this is moving towards fleets, you've got a lot more fleets converting over to alternative fuel. Buses, mass transit. I think right now the waste industry is leading the way in terms of conversions, but the mass transit, taxi cabs, yes. I think there's like 1 in 5 mass transit buses, vehicles today are alternative fuel. So there's a lot of varying issues that are involved with this, but the GGE conversion rate that's out there right now, that Weights and Measures currently has a proposal to come up with a uniform DGE equivalent so that you have it equated back to a gallon of diesel fuel.
We as a company, we're doing business in every state. We've been getting involved with the legislative process enough that we could come up with this perfect model legislation that would, of course, benefit us. We could pitch it to one state, the next state, the next state, but it boils down to what is it going to cost us if we give you this versus that. And we could have 10 principles on it. We might only get 4 in this state and 5 in this state because it comes down to them trying to balance their budget, or they're going to give our industry this, they got to take it away from another industry. And at the same time, like in Florida, we're dealing with manufacturing sales tax issues that are worth X amount to my company. So we got to balance the two and really, what battle do we want to fight in any given year based on where our spend is going to be, based on our competitors getting the same benefits we do. It becomes very, very strategic. It'd be great to have model legislation like you have for IFTA. Maybe you'll get there one day. I know that there are FTA and various industry groups trying to do that, but some states are way further ahead than other states, so it's probably going to take a while to get there.